Hi everyone, it's Harry. So it's the beginning of the year. We're a third of the way through January. I'm at my open house in Tuxedo Park, and I thought I'd bring everyone up to date with respect to what I've seen so far in the beginning of the year. We're a third of the way through January, and what we've seen, with the exception of December when it was Christmas and all that, prices have really been very stable, and so has inventory. In fact, it's dropped a little bit. But what hasn't come back is the buyer. So we're in a buyer's market right now. The inventory isn't extremely high. It's just we haven't seen the buyers return. I'm assuming it's a Christmas layover where people are paying bills, but we shall see because the next bump up that we should see is sometime in March where I'm guessing now more mid March than early March, where we should see a pickup for our spring market. If that doesn't materialize because of Trump's actions down south, then we're in for a muted 2026. I'll At the end of this month, I'll probably start looking at what my predictions are for the remainder of the year. But so far, like last year, I'm going to say pricing stays pretty much the same. We might see a 1-2% inflationary rise for the overall year average, which means we will see some bump ups for spring and maybe the late fall market, and then we'll see a downdraft during summer and at the end of the year. So I don't expect any miraculous increases in pricing. Given that it's slow right now, and if you're a buyer, it's probably a good time to buy, although the selections hasn't picked up yet. If you're a seller, try to wait to the spring market. That might give you some bump up in valuations when you try to sell, but I don't think you're going to lose starting to put things together, listing your home, March onward. I don't expect any big bump ups. The only thing that could be negative, because I don't really expect the Bank of Canada to drop their interest rates anytime soon. Our inflation seems to be holding in there somewhere between 1 and 2%, is what the trade action we're going to see, because this coming year is the year Canada has to renegotiate with Mexico and the U.S. the USMCA agreement, the CUSMA, Canadian U.S. Mexico agreement. It has to happen this year, or if it doesn't, we don't get any conclusions. Our economy's in for, I'm guessing, a bit of a rough ride. So that might push us downwards. I'm hoping cooler heads will reign, as well as we're getting to the midterm elections down south, and this should keep, hopefully, Trump and the Republicans at bay from doing something stupid. But as we know, it's quite volatile with the U.S. government right now. And it's funny, where I'm talking about real estate in Calgary, but now I'm looking at, macro North America affects our overall economy, that affects indirectly Calgary pricing, because Calgary is still cheaper than Vancouver or Toronto. Toronto is probably 1.8 to 1.9 times Calgary, in that range. And we're going to see BC somewhere north of 2 times Calgary. So it's still more expensive to live in those areas. And given that incomes have not really bumped up, I expect there might be still some net migration, not as bad as in the past, but we shall see how this year unfolds. I'm optimistically guarded optimistic about our environment. I think we'll just stay flat like we have in the past prior to COVID, where we traded in this channel or band for 4 or 5 years. I could see us, in this 800 range plus or minus 10% for the next few years, in the detached market. And similarly, on the averages, you'll probably be in that 600-700 range, for that next few years. We shall see. Everyone will have a different take. That's my take. I said prices were going to average similar to last year, which was 2024 versus 2025. Everyone thought I was smoking something, but funny how by the year end the average were within 1% on the various categories and within a few percent on the overall number. So there was no big ramp up and there was no big drop. Hopefully this is helpful. I'd like to think I'm not just a salesperson, that I'm your real estate advisor. So please reach out if you have any need of services or have any questions. Otherwise, have a great weekend.